Today we have access to everything at our fingertips. It allows us to be continuously entertained, endlessly productive, and constantly connected. We have ended up with a culture that equates speed with success, and it treats productivity as more valuable than living well. Being always connected 24/7 means our days no longer have natural pause points. Between emails, WhatsApp, Slacks, Teams, many people feel like they're always on. We have become accustomed to instant gratification with same-day delivery, streaming on demand, instant communication. Waiting has almost become obsolete. And with the constant comparison culture of social media, there is always someone out there who is doing more and doing it better than you. But I think that many of us are starting to realize that having it all of the time isn't making us better. It's leaving us feeling overwhelmed, lonely, stressed, and unfulfilled. And we're starting to wonder, wait, what if this isn't the life that I actually want?
Wait a minute.
As a millennial, it is required that one of my favorite claim to fame is that I grew up in a world before smartphones.
Hey, you cool cat.
We loved to post memes about how when we went out, our parents didn't know where we were, or how we would get kicked off of AOL if someone in the house tried to make a phone call. Then, as we entered our 20s, the internet got better and faster. We used to have to make a phone call and hope someone would be home, and now we could reach them anywhere at any time. Before, if we needed a new shower curtain, we would write it on our list, and then we would get it next time we went shopping.
Side note, if you can't recognize where that last GIF is from, then you're probably too old to be here. Just kidding. I want you to be here, but I just want you to know that I'm sorry that you missed out on good television.
Now you can click it while streaming The Office, because another thing that millennials love is The Office. It's funny because it's relatable to us, I think. I'm not really sure. For those of us who remember having to physically get into a car and go out to get our food at the takeout place, I think we feel this sort of before and after in a much more stark way. This faster way of life, while definitely solidified by the rise of smartphones, has actually been slowly building for more than a century. You actually could trace its roots back to the Industrial Revolution. Oh, a history lesson? That's right, kids, buckle up. Let's go to the whiteboard. During the Industrial Revolution, life started shifting dramatically. For most of human history, people lived by natural rhythms. You worked with daylight because, well, you needed light to work, and then you rested when the sun went down. Life was tied even to the seasons, when summers had longer daylight hours than winters. But when factories arrived, the clock replaced the sun, and light bulbs made it easier to work at hours that you couldn't before. It made life more efficient, but it also sped things up. After World War II, convenience and consumption exploded. Think suburban sprawl, cars in every driveway, TV dinners, which, if I have to be honest, as a child, there were few greater joys than that little black blob that they told us was a brownie. 8-year-old me gives it 3 Michelin stars. Compliments to the chef. TV commercials and shopping malls all pushed the idea that more was better. And by the 1980s and 90s, computers, cable TV, and 24-hour news sped things up even further, feeding us constant stimulation and teaching us to prize multitasking. Then finally, we reached that big tipping point in the 2000s with the internet and especially the smartphones. Suddenly, the whole world fit in our pocket. Social media, one-click shopping, endless news, and non-stop notifications. Life went from busy to plugged in around the clock. More content, more consumption, more comparison, and that's when fast living truly became a default way of life. And for most of us, this faster way of life crept up so slowly, packaged as easier and convenient, that we never stopped to even question it. But not everyone felt this way. People have been pushing back against fast living at the sake of convenience from the start. As early as 1903, sociologist George Simmel wrote The Metropolitan and Mental Life. He warned that the fast pace and overstimulation of cities created anxiety and emotional numbness. The term jaywalker came from the early 1900s as protests against cars taking priority over pedestrians. They argued that streets should remain slow, human-centered places. In the 60s, there was the hippie movement that embraced communes, organic farming, and handmade crafts as an antidote to mass production and consumerism. Then, in 1986, before smartphones were even a whisper, something started to happen that became a sparking moment for the slow movement. Let's take a field trip for this one. So what happened was McDonald's announced its plans to open a restaurant at the base of the Spanish Steps in Rome. For many Italians, this historic gathering place was no spot for a fast food chain, and it symbolized what was being lost to our new, faster pace. Journalist Carlo Petrini and his friends protested by handing out bowls of pasta, using food to say, "We don't want fast, easy meals to replace tradition, ritual, and community." That small act sparked the slow food movement, and while McDonald's did still build their restaurant at the base of the Spanish Steps, that small act snowballed, and by 1989, delegates from 15 countries gathered to write the Slow Food Manifesto. This manifesto pushed back against fast food culture, arguing that by chasing speed and convenience, we were losing tradition, local values, community, and the joy of savoring a meal. Instead, it called for slowing down, protecting regional food, honoring farmers and artisans, and treating meals as more than just fuel. In a way, it wasn't about food. It was about defending a slower, richer way of life against the creep of everything becoming faster, cheaper, and more disposable.
But an interesting thing I've come to realize is how we have sped up life due to convenience, allowing it to slowly creep into all aspects of our life.
How did I get here?
With most of us never really stopping to question if it truly was more convenient. And convenience hasn't just sped up life, but it convinces us that when something is faster, that means it's automatically better, right? Like, obviously, if it saves us time, it must give us more life. It must make us happier and make our lives easier. But if you stop to look closely, it's not what's happening. I've talked about convenience illusion in my videos before, and this is the idea that something is sold as being more convenient, but when you really step back and think about it, is it? Right? Here's an example. Drive-through coffee. It is meant to be faster. It's done for you. You just drive up and drive away with coffee. But instead, you wait in line for 10 minutes. You spend $8 for a coffee. It took more time and more money than if you had just done it at home. But your mind convinces you that it was easier. And that's how most of us end up with a takeout coffee habit. Or how about smart home features like smart lights or smart plugs, all meant to make life easier. But in reality, what do? We spend a few hours getting them all set up, and then every few months we're left like troubleshooting the app or updating some firmware. The products keep randomly getting disconnected from your phone. It was meant to make your life easier, but now you just like have a part-time job in IT. Convenient? Not really. The illusion of convenience. And we've done this in endless places in our lives if we step back and think about it. We saved 15 minutes with one-click shopping only to spend 45 minutes managing returns. We've gained the ability to live track our kids' school buses, but we have lost 30 minutes trying to get logged in on the godforsaken app. We gained infinite streaming options, but lost an entire evening just trying to pick out something to watch because there's too many options. Convenience promises to lighten our load, but instead, it just makes it easier to keep piling more and more on top of ourselves.
I mean, I'm tired, but it's fine. I'll just drink coffee pretty much all day. That's healthy, right?
Did you know that many of us live in a chronic stage of low-grade fight or flight? Our nervous system has two parts. Oh my God. A history lesson and now a science lesson. I know, it's very exciting. I did used to be a teacher, you know. I gotta use that college degree. Let's go back to the whiteboard. The first part of your nervous system is the sympathetic nervous system. This is fight or flight. It is designed for short bursts of stress response, like running from a threat. Then there's your parasympathetic nervous system, sometimes called rest and digest. And it helps our body calm, repair cells, digest food. And in the past, fight or flight was rare and temporary, but the fast pace of modern life has kept it constantly triggered. Deadlines, endless notifications, traffic jams. Your brain interprets these as threats, making many of us stuck in a low-grade, chronic fight or flight mode almost all day. Burnout is constant, chronic stress and anxiety is rampant, continuously multitasking makes it harder for people to be present and connected.
How did we get here? Because although convenience was sold to us as making our life easier, it did something else. It raised the expectations. Every time something got faster, we didn't slow down. Instead, we all just quietly shifted the baseline for what normal productivity and responsiveness should be. Emails got faster, and Gmail had the bright idea to ping your phone every time you got a new email, so now people expect instant replies. Delivery got faster, and so now it's become the normal to get whatever you want the next day. Communication got easier, so now we're reachable all the time. Information got immediate, so now we're expected to be updated and informed 24/7. Instead of giving us time, convenience filled that time with more. Psychologically, humans naturally spend any time they have. It's something called the efficiency trap. The efficiency trap is the idea that the easier and faster something becomes, the more we end up doing, which cancels out the very benefit the efficiency promised. It traces back to something called the Jevons paradox, which showed that when coal became more efficient to use, people would just use more of it, not less. Then there's the Parkinson's law, which confirmed that work naturally expands to fill whatever time we free up. And today, cognitive science shows the same pattern. When tasks get easier, we take on more of them. Expectations speed up, and downtime continues to disappear. So convenience isn't neutral. It actually accelerates at our own pace of life instead of helping us slow our life down. On top of that, companies have realized that faster living benefits them. More consumption, more engagement, more productivity, and thus faster living just keeps getting faster.
So it is not surprising, of course, to see the pendulum start to swing back. Following on the coattails of the previous movements we talked about, more and more people are pushing against the culture of faster and bigger and more. Slow living is gaining popularity. You have people going offline or switching to dumb phones, deciding to really cook from scratch, homesteading, right? Gardening, baking, rejecting fast fashion for more sustainable choices. Many are seeking calm and balance in a response to the relentless pace of our modern life. And I think there's something really beautiful about that. It's about focusing on simple things, right? Like romanticizing your household chores or enjoying your morning cup of coffee, taking a walk without multitasking. Slow living, I think, doesn't need to mean that you're becoming a homesteader who lives off the grid and rejects tech altogether. While the internet, I have found, likes to make everything look like it has to be all or nothing, I think that you can still benefit from the slow living movement while still owning a computer and even living in an apartment in the city. At its core, slow living is simply about living with more purpose and care, and that can look 1,000 different ways. It can be sending a handwritten card, walking instead of driving, having a screen-free meal, or just choosing presence in your everyday moment. At the end of the day, it means being intentional, because even though there are people pushing against it, the pace of life has not slowed down, and I don't know that it is going to be slowing down. Work still rewards speed and productivity. Our smartphones are still demanding our attention with notifications and messages and alerts all day long. Even the content we consume has become faster, switching from originally articles and long-form video to quick 30-second videos or bite-sized bullet points. And of course, the elephant in the room is AI, looming over us, changing our lives at a speed that we have literally never experienced in all of humankind, which is a can of worms that I am not sure that we can begin to cover in this video because I am not emotionally or physically or mentally prepared to do so. And I think that's why slow living matters so much in this day and age. In a world that keeps speeding up and telling us to speed up, it can seem a little dramatic almost to say like, okay, enough is enough, right? It's like a little small form of resistance to say no. But as you resist, even in little small ways, I think that you'll notice a decrease in stress, a stronger feeling of being present, and more meaningful connections. And when you slow down, it gives your body a chance for that parasympathetic system to kick in. Do you remember the science lesson we have? I hope that you were listening. I hope you were taking notes because it is going to be on the test. Things will happen like a decrease in your cortisol, that's your stress hormone. Your heart rate will lower. Your brain will shift out of constant alertness to focus and calm. Even your digestion and sleep improves when you give that parasympathetic nervous system a chance to tap in. And this can be done with tons of little small tweaks, little changes to your life to take yourself out of that chronic low-grade state of fight or flight. I've made a lot of changes to my life over the last year or so to slow down. I found myself more and more pushing back against the narrative telling me that I need more, that bigger is better and faster is better. And sure, as a mom of 4 children, my life is still pretty busy and chaotic, and a lot of that is completely out of my control. Like the fact that my children think this is aesthetic, or that their inside voice is the same decibel as a fire engine siren. But here are some things that I have done to help myself slow down and to take advantage of the slow living movement. 1, prioritizing time outdoors. I try to be outside as much as possible, especially with my family, especially with my children. Ideally, totally tech-free, just being outdoors. 2, minimizing my workload. As a content creator, it is really easy for me to get caught up in doing it all, but I've stepped back from short form content to focus on long form videos like this one that I'm posting on YouTube. It pushes against the idea that more is better, and it lets me work deeper on a single project instead of flitting from one thing to the other. The next change is cutting tech time. This has probably been the biggest shift for me. I shared in a recent video that I quit social media, but I've actually gone further and I have switched to a dumb phone. I no longer have a smartphone and I don't have the constant pings and distractions that a smartphone used to bring, and has been one of the most eye-opening and life-changing things that I've ever done in my life. And you can definitely expect some more content about this as we get into 2026. 3, owning less. This has been an ongoing process that I've navigated in parenthood that I've been sharing with you guys as I go through it. But every year I've gotten better and better. Having less to manage makes life simpler, calmer, and slower. 4, connecting locally. Online connection can be really great and it can connect you with people that you didn't connect with before, but it is not the same as face-to-face. So I've joined local organizations, volunteered at events that I would usually shy away from. I've invited people over to my home casually and even just made more small talk when I'm out and about in my community. Here's another really quick example. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I was due to be home with all of my kids like I assume most parents were, because it was a common day to have off of school. I sent a text out to some local parents in our neighborhood just saying, hey, let's do a playground hangout around 10 a.m. on Wednesday if you're home with the kids like me. And a small group of people met up at the playground and our kids played, and it was really nice. This was nothing extraordinary, but one of the moms who I hadn't met before thanked me for organizing it. And she mentioned how in her neighborhood, like, no one is ever outside. And this is a story that I feel like I keep hearing a lot. People say nobody's ever sitting out on their front porches anymore, or similar sentiments to this. Where is everyone? Are we just inside on our screens? But the point was, it was just a simple gesture of reaching out to my community to focus more of my energy here, where my feet and my roots are, my local community, people that are physically around me. Now, there are endless ways to slow down. These are just some of the ways that I've done it. Doesn't mean this is the only way to do it. I would love if maybe you jump down in the comments and you mention a way that you have incorporated slow living into your life in one way or another, and then we can sort of create this comment feed of amazing ideas for others on ways that you can incorporate slow living into your life, because I found they really compound, right? Like, the more I embrace slow living, the more I embrace more of it. Like, if I do a little thing that's more slow living, then I find myself doing more and more and more of them. And so I thought it'd be fun to have a feed of a ton of great little ideas that are totally digestible, that people can just try. All right, my friends, but that does it for this video. As always, thank you so much for stopping by and watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you're having a fantastic day. As always, remember to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you all in my next video.